Amidst the vast snow-capped expanses and rich cultural tapestry of Siberia, a fervent desire for independence stirs. Can this land, with its untamed wilderness and diverse peoples, carve a new destiny for itself, free from the confines of its Russian identity? Siberia's autonomous drive for independent regionalism. Is Russia coming apart at the seams? There's no question that Siberia plays an important role in bolstering Russia's economy, contributing in a variety of different areas such as the energy sectors, natural resources, oil and gas, timber, etc. After all, Siberia makes up for about 75% of the total Russian landmass. However, it isn't nearly as populated. The region is undoubtedly vast and beautiful, spanning from its majestic Ural Mountains, located in the west, and borders China, Mongolia, and Kazakhstan to the north. In addition, Siberia is also home to a variety of different ethnic populations, such as Buryats and Yakuts, indigenous peoples, along with ethnic Russians. The region is quite culturally diverse and adds to its deep tapestry of several spoken languages and cherished traditions. Not to mention, Siberia also boasts a slew of animals and is most noted for the Siberian tiger and huge moose and brown bears, along with reindeer. While Siberia is indeed beautiful, packed with natural resources, wonderful flora and fauna, and bone-shuddering temperatures, we're going to also explore some compelling reasons behind the region's desire to succeed from Russia. Siberia, the land of mystique. With a population of more than 34 million people, Siberia is home to an incredibly large and diverse natural environment that equally contributes to its economy and the economy of the rest of Russia, along with sufficiently sustaining its ecology. The northern region is a large expanse of frozen tundras, covered with a deep layer of permafrost that is hundreds of thousands of years old. In the middle, you'll find the taiga forest, a gigantic, expansive continuous forest that is thousands of miles long and is home to a bulk of the region's wildlife. To the south, you can gaze upon the alluring Altai, Sayan, and Yablunivy mountains. Exploration of indigenous Siberian cultures and their rich traditions. Siberia also boasts spectacular cultural and ethnic diversity, with several indigenous traditions and languages. For instance, it's home to the Yakuts and Buryats, two ancient tribes that make up the bulk of the indigenous population in the region. Both are known for contributing rich folklore, tradition, music, food, and stories, all of which have been passed down through the ages. Connection between Siberia's mystique and its desire for independence. How cultural identity shapes the secessionist sentiment. From a cultural perspective, the desire for Siberia to be an independent state does make a lot of sense. The local population has a deep desire to preserve its ethnic culture and traditions in line with its history. They want to be able to embrace and integrate their cultural identities as a tool for safeguarding and promoting their specific way of life more autonomously and independently. Another significant reason for the separatist notion is the fact that Siberia has been historically known for being Russia's prison grounds for political dissidents and a bitter haven for the exiled during both the Soviet and Tsarist eras. This notion has also fueled the sense of independence and separateness. Siberia has seen a lot of hardship and resistance throughout hundreds of years, which is why today there is a strong desire of the people to move towards greater self-determination. The economic powerhouse of Siberia. Siberia is rightfully known as the economic powerhouse of Russia. Russia's oil production output in 2021 was more than 10 million barrels per day, a bulk of which comes from Siberia. The region accounts for 70% of Russia's oil and gas production. In addition, 95% of all aluminum production is done in Siberia, and the region also has the country's largest gold reserves, holding more than 83% reserves in the east. Moreover, Siberia is also rich in a variety of other natural resources and minerals such as coal and iron ore, along with other rare earth materials, all of which massively contribute towards building and supporting mainstream Russian manufacturing industries. Examination of how economic exploitation has fueled the desire for independence among Siberians. In terms of oil and gas production compared to other world powers such as Saudi Arabia and the US, Russia ranks at number 3. Producing 256 billion barrels of oil per year, 144 billion barrels of which come from Siberia. In addition, the region also produces up to 1,300 trillion cubic feet of natural gas. The extraction and production of abundant natural and precious resources plays a significant role in bolstering the Russian economy. However, the problem is that the wealth and recognition for Siberia has always remained inequitable, with a bulk of the revenue and economic rewards going to Moscow. A lot of Siberians believe that Moscow is the very reason why they have been suffering such economic disparities, further propelling the notion and movement for a separate and independent state. Environmental stewardship and independence. Siberia has a powerful ecology that has far-reaching global significance when you talk about climate regulation. The region is home to humongous forests, which are naturally efficient and effective for storing CO2 gas. They play a vital role in absorbing global emissions and mitigating the effects of greenhouse gases. The region also comprises some of the biggest freshwater resources. It is primarily noted for boasting the mesmerizing Lake Baikal, which contributes toward regional and global climate regulation, impacting the world's precipitation patterns. Examination of how environmental concerns have intensified the call for succession. Siberian forest boasts a whopping 7 million square kilometers compared to US forest, which only span 3.1 square kilometers. However, what's unfortunate is that the region is experiencing the negative impact of global warming at an accelerated pace. The permafrost is gradually thawing. There are bigger wildfires the locals have to contend with every year, and there is a notable change in the region's precipitation patterns. Local communities have raised their concerns with Moscow, alleging that the central government is doing little to counter these challenges. The locals desire more autonomous control over the process of preserving the ecosystem through effective environmental policies. In addition, the extensive and continuous extraction of natural resources in the region is also accelerating environmental decline, and the locals believe that if this isn't stopped, they will have to face massive ecological concerns in the future. These are two very big reasons why Siberians are pushing for a separate state. Siberia's fight for political representation. Historically, there has always been a deep sense of marginalization in the Siberia communities, and there's a good reason for this. You see, since the Soviet and Tsarist eras, the region has been mainly utilized as a place to imprison or exile political prisoners, dissidents, criminals, ideologists, and intellectuals. Siberia has been used as one huge penitentiary for doling out punishment or to remove people from political and social life. This notion contributed to building a negative image for the region, often reinforcing the perspective that Siberia has always been an isolated area for outcasts. In addition, during Soviet times, there was widespread practice of exiling prisoners to vast labor camps throughout Siberia. The central government controlled the region with force, further fueling marginalization sentiments amongst the Siberians. Analysis of contemporary political movements and figures advocating for Siberian representation and self-governance. Some recent political movements to support the idea of a separate Siberian state and further the notion of national regionalism argue for further representation of Siberia within the Russian government. Political leaders and intellectual commentators support the idea of an equal distribution of wealth and resources between Siberia and the rest of Russia. There have also been calls for sovereignty that have quickly gained traction in the region, with people advocating for more Siberian control over the area's political, economic infrastructure, and decision-making. Comparison with other regions globally that have achieved political autonomy and its implications for Siberia. While Siberia still has to go a long way before realizing some degree of regionalism, it can learn from its other European counterparts in terms of how they have achieved political autonomy over the decades. Scotland can be a very good example here. A part of the UK, while Scotland isn't completely independent, it did achieve a powerful sense of autonomy in various economic sectors such as transportation, education, and healthcare. The Scottish Parliament was founded in 1999 as a result of a continuous push for political sovereignty. Siberia can learn a great deal about how Scotland achieved its regional goals by still staying connected with the largest state. Social media and grassroots movements. The Siberian Revolution. Social media has been instrumental in helping exponentially voice the Siberian community's push for regionalism. Various digital platforms such as Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, Twitter, and Russia's very own VKontakte, a local social media platform, have created a continuous platform for communication, sharing information, and helping people gain local and international support, especially in spreading the awareness of the issues Siberians have to face. Rallies and cultural events fostering a sense of unity among Siberians. There have been various fundamental movements, cultural events, and rallies in Siberia propelling the need for regionalism and political independence from Russia, bringing people from within and outside Siberia together in their movement for a just cause. For instance, communities in Siberia have often organized rallies against the constant extraction of resources from Lake Baikal, the world's deepest freshwater lake, highlighting just how the central Russian government has failed to protect the ecosystem surrounding the lake. Similarly, National cultural events, such as the Day of the Memory of the Dead of the Gulag, are also observed as a constant reminder to the Russian government of Siberia's political plight and repression and its association as a prison state for political dissidents, the global perspective, international reactions, and support. There's no doubt that the central Russian government does everything in its power to oppose the Siberian sentiment of a separate state or regionalism. Moscow has made it clear that it views Siberia as a strategic region that is chock full of natural resources that help propel the overall Russian economy as well as its influence throughout Europe. Russia is a major natural gas exporter to European countries after all. Moreover, China also shares a border with Siberia and has expressed deep political and economic interest in the region. The country is also a major consumer of the region's vast resources, especially when you talk about the energy sector. Instability in the region will be problematic for China. The same goes for other nations that depend on Russia for its energy exports and view Siberia as a major energy production region. Any disruptions would cause issues for the international energy community. Exploration of countries or organizations showing support for Siberia's cause and the reasons behind their stance. There are a lot of global and local non-governmental organizations concerned with human rights, environmental protection, and the preservation of the indigenous people of Siberia that have shown their support. Their motivation to voice Siberia's concerns is deeply rooted in the principles of human rights and the right to self-determination. Similarly, in following the same principles, there's also continued support from neighboring countries, such as the Baltic states, that continue to express their opinions on why Siberia has the right to regional autonomy. Speculation on potential alliances and collaborations that could aid Siberia in achieving its independent goals. Look, there's no doubt that it's not going to be easy for Siberia to win this war of attrition and the right to autonomy and self-determination. It's a complex situation, especially now that Russia is at war with Ukraine. However, the region can find solace in the fact that it is not alone in this fight and that there are countries like Mongolia, China, and Kazakhstan that could become future allies in their movement to acquire political independence and stability. Imagining an independent Siberia, challenges and opportunities. It is very difficult to say how Siberia would cope with the ramifications of becoming an independent state or at least a regional autonomy. There will be mounting challenges, and that's for sure. For instance, the region's economy is fully integrated with Russia. The central government is completely involved and fused with economic development in the area, along with the extraction of oil and gas. Should Siberia be successful in gaining its independence, it would have to first create strategic policies on how to govern and regulate its natural resources. It's not a simple transition from a resource-rich region to a fully diversified economy. It takes a lot of time and patience. Exploration of the unique opportunities an independent Siberia could offer, such as sustainable development and cultural preservation. One of the areas where Siberia could potentially prosper, should it succeed in becoming independent, is renewable energy. It is a land that can generate all types of sustainable energy, such as wind, electricity, and solar. The region can invest in developing long-standing energy plans and export its surplus to other nations in return for their expertise in developing infrastructure, allowing Siberia to gradually reduce its reliance on Russia.